welcome to another episode of The Demon's Den, your stop for horror history, stories, and more. I'm your host Hex, and in this episode we'll be covering something very near and dear to my heart, the Halloween movie franchise. Now, I may not be secretly in love with Michael Myers like my brother is, but I'm enough of a fan to have something to say about his story. And good God, do I have a lot to say. So, Michael was the most interesting out of the slashers. Like, Jason was like a bullied mama's boy, Freddy is a crispy perv, and Leatherface, well, let's just say he had more of a shocking than interesting story. Michael ended his family and went on to find the rest, but why? What drives this monstrous, anti-life beast to keep going? Why does this storyline keep being rewritten? And why did that last movie suck so much? Well, let's get into it. So, growing up watching these movies, and even after that, I'd always wondered what kept Michael going. Like, other slashers had their reasons. Freddy was a demon, Jason was this abnormally strong guy who rose from the dead as a deadite after being put down. I think Leatherface is pretty much the same as Jason, but I don't think he ever rose from the dead. I think... did he even die? You know, there's been so many movies, I'm not actually sure. I never really paid that much attention to Leatherface, to be honest. Let's see, oh, do you guys remember Pumpkinhead? That guy was a demon. I wouldn't even call him a guy. Like, that was a legit demon, like, summoned by a witch. But anyway, the list goes on for movies like that. But what kept Michael himself going? That would be the Curse of the Thorn, introduced in the second movie, as well as the novelization and comic books. Michael is under the influence of a curse by a cult named the Cult of the Thorn. These guys are actually extremely important to why Michael can't get hurt, and why he keeps coming back, and why he has to kill his whole family. It's all explained in the Cult of the Thorn cult. So, the Cult of the Thorn have been around for thousands of years, and in order to preserve their society and keep their tribes alive, they place a curse of thorn on an unsuspecting child who is then compelled to kill their whole family on Halloween night. Now, the cult is portrayed by different people in both versions of the movie, but the belief stays the same. The curse possesses the child with an ancient druid demon known as Thorn, and that's what's doing all the slashing. It also explains the incredible healing factor, the stamina, the endurance, the strength. Michael pretty much had his body hijacked from birth, just so these people could have a normal, or I guess what they considered a normal way of life. He's just being used as a tool. That's the only way Michael really makes sense, in my opinion. The curse. The continuity of this brand has been all over the place. The official canon of the movie, or of the franchise, only focuses on the 1978 version, the 2018 version, Halloween Kills, and the one that I wish didn't happen. I'm sure most of Halloween fans wish didn't happen. Halloween Ends. Oh, God, that movie. So, this means that the other movies didn't happen. Halloween 2, 4, 5, and 6 did not happen. I'm not counting Halloween 3 in this, because it really didn't have anything to do with Michael. It had everything to do with those kids wearing bad Halloween masks. So the official canon gets rid of the curse entirely. And that's some BS in my opinion. The curse is the only thing that makes sense. The curse gave Michael his power and his purpose. There was a point to everything he was doing. There was a direct point. The curses would make sense. Without it, Michael is just this mentally ill, extremely durable, and very quiet person. Which, come on, we already got Jason and Leatherface. We already got two strong, quiet people. But I think both of them are mama's boys. Michael, I don't think. Well, I mean, in Rob Zombie's version, Michael was a mama's boy. Rob Zombie already tried that not giving Michael the curse of the thorn thing and just made him a very strong guy. It failed horribly. I did like the look of his Michael in the first one, though. But that's the only thing that was really correct in those films. The look. So in Halloween 2, 4, 5, and 6, there's always this guy kind of just skulking in the background, and we never get to see who he is. We just know that he's completely dressed in black, and we never see his face, and he's always carrying like a suitcase. He kind of looks like the guy in the beginning of the old Goosebumps intro, you know, when his suitcase open and all the papers fly out. Yeah, he kind of looks like that guy. So when I first saw this guy, I thought it was like Michael, like in his street clothes, like kind of seeing what place he's gonna hit next or something. But no, this guy is actually the leader of the Thorn cult, who follows Michael around to make sure everything's going according to plan. Now, this guy's, the full story for this guy, as well as the Thorn cult, the reason Michael does what he does, it's all explained in the 6th movie of the original continuity. But the thing is, there are 2 versions of the 6th movie. There's the original cut, and then there's the producer's cut. The producer's cut is far superior, and if you're going to go back and watch it, I highly suggest sticking to the producer's cut. It explains fully who the Thorn cult is, why Michael does what he does, why the cult does what it does, and why they're going to continue doing what they do even after Michael's gone. Now, that would have been a nicely wrapped up present of a ending for our slasher guy, for Michael. But instead, they chose to continue with Halloween Resurrection and Halloween H2O, which we really didn't need. And I honestly didn't mind Rob Zombie's version. I mean, the story was a little messed up and he avoided the thorn curse completely, but at least it was better than Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends had to be... It was a slap in the face to everybody who is a lover of this franchise. We expected an explanation and a final battle, but what we got was some mentally ill incel fanboy for 90% of the film, and then Michael was defeated in some half-ass fight scene. This version of our guy makes 0 sense, and it made the series feel like another run-of-the-mill slasher movie, or even just basic horror movie. If the movie canon instead was the 1 through the 6 movies, and the 6th movie being the producer's cut, then at least the story would have a beginning, a middle, and an end, with an explanation for everything. It would still be a slasher movie, but at least it would have a real story and be congruent with the rest of the story. Not just this, another strong, mentally ill guy. No, see, Michael had a story, and they got rid of it. Now, I know I've been kinda crapping on Rob Zombie during this, but I give the guy props. The Rob Zombie films were their own thing, and honestly, yeah, props to the guy for showing us his version. But, good God, did he poop the bed on the second one. The costume was alright, though. I loved how it was all roughed up and how he wasn't actually wearing the jumpsuit. You know, like, it would get messed up. He would find other clothes to wear, so that's something I really did like about his version. You know, weirdly enough though, I would love to see Rob Zombie take a crack at Jason. He has that grunge and dirtiness that Jason just exudes. Pumpkinhead would also be a good project for him. You know, just anything that takes Rob Zombie back into his natural element of just that grunge and dirtiness. You know, the kind of grunge and dirtiness that made us fall in love with House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. He had other movies that did alright. I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody's actually ever heard of the movie The Haunted World of El Superbeasto, but that was an X-rated Scooby-Doo, and it was funny. It was a Rob Zombie cartoon. It was he even had he even had Michael Myers in that. I thought it was hilarious. But getting on to a more serious note, I find that slashers should be something of a supernatural entity. If you make them more human, then it gives an excuse to other, maybe not so well people to go further with their not so healthy thoughts. And we've seen this before, like, a lot. So, I honestly think it's just a much better thing for everybody to keep a slasher in the supernatural realm. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents on the issue. You think what you want. Alright everybody, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Demon's Den. Join us next week, where we will be talking about anomalies and the strange things that we have no explanation for. So until next time, stay safe, lock your doors, and remember, if your last name is Myers, you might want to leave the country on Halloween night.